Guys, welcome back to the Sell the Future podcast. This week, we will go over part 2 of closing deals in the SMB space, how to get the contract signed and the deal done. You will not want to miss that. Stay tuned. But first, last week, we provided our prospects with 3 options in terms of packaging and pricing. And there's a reason why great brands from Apple to Netflix to your local coffee shop always offer 3 pricing options. Not 2, not 5, 3. But why is the rule of 3 so powerful? Let's break down the psychology behind this. When you give a buyer just 2 options, a cheap one and a premium one, you're actually creating a conflict, not a choice. They're stuck asking themselves in an internal battle, do I go cheap and risk missing out? Do I spend more and risk overpaying? Now, the problem with this is that is not a comfortable place to make a decision from. Psychologically, it triggers risk aversion. And what happens then? It leads to no decision at all. Now, when you introduce a third option, something magical happens. The decision shifts from should I buy to which one should I buy? That's the Goldilocks effect. Just like Goldilocks, one porridge was too hot, one was too cold, the middle was just right. Humans naturally gravitate towards the middle of 3 choices. It feels safe, balanced, and smart, not extreme. That's why you see basic, pro, and premium everywhere. The middle is the Goldilocks, the sweet spot. Guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It means I can continue creating more of this type of content. Back to the video. Now, here's the next layer. It's called anchoring. When people see your higher priced option first, that number sets a mental reference point, a value anchor. Suddenly your middle price doesn't look expensive anymore. It seems a smarter choice. For example, if I show you a 4K premium package, and then I show you a 2K Pro package, the Pro version suddenly feels like great value, right? But if I'd only shown you the 2K options and the 1K options, the 2K would have felt like the expensive one. See the shift? The high anchor reframes the middle option as reasonable. Think about it this way. When you're in a restaurant and they offer you 2 bottles of wine, one's $20, one's $40, you're most likely going to lean towards the $20 one. Now, let's add an $80 option. Suddenly, the $40 one looks quite attractive. The $80 bottle anchored value and made the $40 one seem smart and the sensible choice, not extravagant. Now, what you can also do with 3 options that you can't with 2 is you can guide your buyer by simply moving the middle option. Let's get one thing straight. Human beings don't know what something should cost. We only compare. By providing 2 options, you create that conflict. But by having a bookend to your middle option, a lower option and a higher option, we now have context. Now, if we see popcorn prices, for example, at the cinemas, small, medium, large, if the small is £3, the medium is £4, and the large is £4.50, our brain tells us the smart move is to go for the large, because you're getting the best value for money. So you can strategically place the middle option closer to either the lower end or the higher end to guide your buyer to where you want them to go. If you want them to go to the middle option, it's the best option for them, then you place the middle option closer in price to the low ticket item. And if the higher price point is actually a better fit for them, you simply move the package closer in price to the premium ticket item. Now, 3 options also hit what psychologists call optimal cognitive load. 1 option equals no context, 2 options equals conflict, and 3 options equals clarity. Our brains can easily compare 3 things at once. No problem. More than that, and you get overwhelmed and typically you shut down. And that means you end up doing nothing. So you're designing not just a pricing model, you're designing for ease of decision making. Now, here's something subtle but also super powerful. Offering 3 options also communicates expertise. What do I mean by that? It tells your audience, I understand different customer needs. I've thought about you at every level. It frames you as a guide, not a pushy sales rep. You're giving structure, not pressure, and people trust that. So give people 3 and you'll watch them sell themselves on the one you wanted them to sell themselves on all along. Because in sales, psychology beats logic every single time. Now, last week we looked at closing within the SMB space, how to get your prospect to commitment. If you missed it, you can check it out on my channel. But once you've got them to commit, how do you get them over the line with a signed contract? That's what we're going to be looking at today. And one thing you don't want to do is start negotiating on the call. Guys, the instinct might be to rush to a finish, but in professional SMB sales, slowing down at this moment gives you power and protects you. I'll explain what I mean. What you want to do is avoid order taker status. When a rep discounts straight off the bat and it's a deep discount, what's the prospect going to think? They're going to think you had that all along. That cheapens the product and also makes you look more like an order taker than an actual strategic partner. So you want to anchor the discount as a true concession. You want to frame the discount as a genuine one, which it is, a one-time exception that requires executive approval. It's above you. That increases its perceived value. Now, another reason why you don't do this, if you start negotiating price on the same call, the prospect will immediately ask you for more. And that is a slippery slope. By saying, I need to get approval first, you pause the process. You solidify the 3 levers we spoke about last week, terms, payment, speed, and draw a line under the discussion. Now, pausing the negotiations also gives you time to think. It means you're less likely to make a misstep and offer up too big a discount. It gives you time to review the full deal. This is crucial. It means you don't get involved in an emotional or an unnecessary discount battle, which can really go south very, very quickly. And trust me, I've been there. And finally, the other good thing about this is if the prospect then tries to go rogue a little bit later, you've always got the fallback of, look, I'm really sorry, I'm actually bound by the agreement I got signed off. I got the green light on from my director. This will remove the personal pressure from the rep. So the takeaway from not negotiating on the same call is this. The moment your prospect agrees the timeline is not crazy, you've won the negotiation on commitment. Yeah? Don't risk losing that commitment by instantly throwing discounts at them. Devaluing the product, devaluing yourself. Use the review process I'm going to walk you through and validate the value of the concession. Making it seem like it was difficult to get there is all part of the process because it should be difficult to get there. You don't just offer discounts straight off the bat. When you start thinking I'm offering £1,000, £2,000, £3,000 off, or even worse, you're doing it in percentages, 20%, 25%. That's money out of your pocket. You're devaluing the product. The product solves a problem for your buyer. This is a high value product. So yes, it is difficult to get the concession because your director is also going to push back on you. While we discount this product, okay, they can sign off by close of play tomorrow. Fine. We will work within the parameters of what we can. Validate the value of the concession. So you've asked them the question, would it be crazy if we can hit the right price point to get something signed off by close of play tomorrow? And they go, no, actually, Neil, that wouldn't be crazy. That's doable. What is your next direct step? What are you guys doing? You need to have this down to a T. Create your own version and tweak this one if you like. But this is pretty much how it should go. Great to hear and appreciate your commitment to the timeline. John, I do need to run this up the chain, get official sign off from my director. But because you're moving quickly, I'll be able to get the maximum concession for you. Just to make sure, I'll be working on the premise of a 12-month or a 24-month agreement. Neil will go 24 months. Perfect. And with the payment terms, are we looking at upfront or biannual? Once you've got all the answers you need to put the proposal together, you get them closed for the proposal review. Great. I'll go run this up the chain right now for you. I'll sit down with my manager and we'll come up with a couple of options. John, I'm due to sit down with him at midday today anyway, as it happens. So we'll get this covered off then. Are you around at 2 p.m. to go through the options? If the time doesn't work, no problem. Are you free first thing tomorrow at 9 a.m.? We will need to honor that end of week timeline for me to get the maximum discount for you here. See, you're not asking if they want another call. You're asking when the closing call will happen, and it needs to happen within the given timeline. Otherwise, no discount. So now you've fully qualified the deal, you're booking in the proposal review. And in this review, you're going to provide 3 revised options, all in line with what's been discussed, making the option that suits them best a no-brainer. Now, once they confirm the option, what are you guys doing? Here's my suggestion. Great. I'll shoot across a contract in the next 15 minutes. What I'll also do is I'll put in a 10-minute placeholder for us at 5 p.m. today, just in case you need me to walk you through it, or if you've got any questions. John, feel free to sign off ahead of that. It's a pretty straightforward agreement. And if you do end up doing that, I'll get the onboarding process moving from my side straight away. Sound good? Now, while we put in a placeholder in, again, you're keeping control until you get that signature. If come 5 p.m. they haven't signed it, you have a second bite at the cherry. You jump on the meeting with them, you walk them through the contract, and you get that live signature. Right, that's it for another week, guys. If you found that helpful, but you need me to create a bespoke process for you, a step-by-step live guide to walk you through how to close deals and the psychology behind putting a proposal together, I have opened up my one-to-one coaching spots. They're only for reps who are super serious about skilling up. So if that's you, book in your free consultation with me using the link below in the description. And if you want to see more of me, simply click this video right here and I'll see you guys in there.